What is up, everyone? JD Geeks here. Today, we are talking about a fan favorite blaster in the hobby. This blaster is a little bit on the newer side. I think it's about 6 months. It's definitely more like a year, maybe a year and a half old. This blaster is still relatively new, though, and a lot of people do really like it. Today, we are talking about the Saber Apex Prime. This blaster is a full metal CNC blaster made from Saber, but it is pretty expensive because it is fully metal. This blaster is around 450, I believe. I got mine from Out of Darts, but it is still a very, very good blaster, especially for the FPS caps it can hit. I've seen people get this blaster around 180 all the way up to over 400 FPS. And that's just a range that not a lot of blasters can do with as much ease as this blaster can. But let's talk about some more downsides for the price. There is no trigger guard on the trigger itself or even a safety for this. So this blaster hits around 400 feet per second and there's no safety. That's a pretty big issue. Another issue is the length. This blaster is very, very long. I have to stand off camera or a pretty far ways away from the camera in order to fit this whole blaster in view. And to get a picture of this full blaster, it's actually really hard to do. Another issue is the stock. There are two ways that you can use a stock on this blaster. You can either get a mil-spec stock, which doesn't have a spring guide like the original one that comes with this, or you can have the original one. I personally do recommend the original just for the fact that it does come with that spring guide. That spring guide is a very key thing to help from kinking or bending in the spring as you're priming the blaster itself. And this will help prevent any fluctuation or as major of fluctuations with priming the blaster itself. And if you do want to extend the area here, there are little adjustment pieces that you can get to lengthen it, and you can remove them as well to shorten it if that's what you want for this blaster. Another issue that I've heard of people having is the magazines kind of getting stuck in the skinny mag well that it has, but I haven't ever had any issues with it. It's actually very easy for me to just take it and just slide a mag in if I put it in the hole correctly. So it is actually just very easy, and it doesn't feel tight or anything really. It just kind of slides right in and comes right out. And so that's an issue that some people have, but I have not had with this blaster. It does come with a skinny pusher, which is very nice because I know a lot of blasters in the hobby now are having those, which prevents you from needing to prime the blaster back before you can put a mag in and load a dart, which gets me to the prime of this blaster. I do have this blaster at a pretty high setting. It's hitting a little under 400 feet per second with bamboos and around 300, a little bit above that with Saber T-Dart heavies. This blaster's prime though, I'd like to say it's just a tad bit harder than the Worker Harriers at 300 with bamboos. A little over 300 with bamboos. It is a very easy prime to deal with. It is, I've used this for just hours of just having fun with my buddies, just shooting each other, and it hasn't impacted my arms at all. I get a little sore, but it doesn't actually impact the gameplay at all. This blaster, in my opinion, is absolutely incredible. I do really, really like it. And now let's talk about the look of this blaster. Some people think this blaster looks a little bit unfinished. Personally, I absolutely love it. This blue color, the full metal with the long barrel. I like the little accents of gold and the black and blue coloration. I did add a ZWQ 30 bearing B car because it is a little bit cheaper than the Saber B car, and I like the threaded system a lot more than having 4 bolts that could potentially off shift the way that the B car is sitting on the barrel, and I wanted it to be as accurate as possible. So this is just an easier method for me, and I could put it on a different blaster if I really needed to. Other than that, I think this blaster is very solid, and I do really, really like it. The major issues are the weight and the buttstock, in my opinion. Other than that, it's actually pretty solid. So one issue, or one other thing that people can do with this blaster if they want, it's not an issue, it's actually a benefit. You can take off the priming block down here at the bottom if you want, so you don't have the foregrip attached to the priming block, and you can actually mount a stationary piece and put a bipod on here, so then you only have this side prime action there, and you could use this as a full-blown sniper with a bipod. With the FPS this is hitting, it would actually be an insane sniper. I do like to use it more as a rifle style because that does fit my play style a little bit better, but I do think this is a very, very good deal. But let's go test it. Let's stop talking about how it looks, how it feels, and some issues, and let's show the FPS and the accuracy of this blaster. I will see you at the chronograph. Alrighty, here we are at the chronograph with the Saber Apex Prime. Again, this is currently probably my favorite blaster that I have. I like my other blasters a lot, but this one just takes the cake. The FPS and everything that it does, it is insane. So let's get right into the FPS testing, and then we'll jump into the accuracy. So for FPS today, I have 3 Worker Gen 3s, 3 Saber Heavy T-Darts, and then 3 of the Dart Zone bambooed darts. All right, let's start off with the Worker darts. We got 322.5, 335.2, and finally 335.9. So with normal 1 gram Worker Gen 3s, you're getting about 330 feet per second with this spring that I have in the blaster. All right, now we will get the Saber T-Dart to try. 308.8, 311.6, and finally 307.0. So almost 310 feet per second with the heaviest, most accurate darts on the market right now. All right, and finally, let's get into some bamboo darts. This is what a lot of people are ready to see. So with this spring, we're getting 366.9. That's actually quite low to my knowledge. 371.9. And finally, 374.4. I do believe that I've gotten this blaster up to about 380 feet per second, which is almost 400 feet per second, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. But enough talking about feet per second. Let's show you the accuracy of this blaster. I will see you in a second. Alrighty, you guys, we are now at the accuracy testing of the Saber Apex Prime. Again, this blaster is very long, but this blaster's accuracy, from what I've used with a 30 bearing B car, it's insane. I'm going to be doing the exact same thing that I did with the Worker Harrier. 13 darts at the human target, and I will do 5 at the smaller target. Let's get right into it. So this blaster's prime is a little heavy. It's nothing too crazy. I'll be able to rip off all these shots without really any trouble. But let's see how the accuracy is. So first shot we will do at the smaller targets first. A little low, actually. I think it went right between the gap. Just above. Just above again. And just above again. I think that is just human error. Let's see how it does against the silhouette. And sorry for the spring noise on this blaster. It is crazy powerful. All right. The silhouette. Hit. 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 Oh, it's stuck in the target. Hit. 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 Knocked that other one out. Looks like I got one shot left. Yep. So, last shot. Let's make it count. Oh, I just grazed it, but it was a hit. So I did hit every single shot with or on the silhouette target. And this silhouette target is not very big. This silhouette target, as you can see compared to me, is fairly small. And from 50 feet away, I hit it with every target and I destroyed this target. If you do remember in my Harrier accuracy test, I did talk about a blaster. I was more worried about destroying this target than that one did. Here you go. As you saw, there was a dart that got lodged into this target, and almost every other shot just destroyed the cardboard even more than the Harrier did. But that's enough talking about the accuracy of this blaster. Let's go back inside and summarize the blaster itself. I'll see you in a second. Now that we're back from the chronograph and the accuracy testing, you can see the power that this blaster has. This blaster is absolutely incredible. I do really like it. If I'm being honest though, it is around rank 4 for me. I've gotten some really cool blasters recently that have pushed this down the list, but for a while, this was up there on my list. I think it was tied for first with the Worker Harrier, but now it's gone a little bit below that. So the prime is very easy for getting around 400 FPS with this blaster. I think it's been hitting around 380, I believe. I have gotten it a little bit higher than that, but for a majority of the time, the average is right around 380, I'd like to say. This blaster, though, the only reason I would say to not get it is if it is out of your price range. If you have the money and you're willing to spend it on a blaster and you want something that hits hard, this is a blaster for you. A lot of my buddies, whenever they come over, they do like to use this, and they've shot other friends that have come over as well. And it is just an absolutely insane blaster, and a lot of people really do like to use this, including myself. You can't really beat the price of this. The full metal design looks amazing, feels amazing, and this blaster is meant to last. And for the prime, it has bearings in it, which has been implemented a bit more in the hobby more recently. But the bearings on here with the air volume in the plunger tube and the full metal design that is just meant to last and really take a beating is just not going to be able to be beaten by someone or by a 3D printed blaster or an injection molded blaster. I will say there is a blaster called the Perilous, which I would like to do a review on at some point. A couple of my friends have gotten some recently, and they are very cool 3D printed blasters, but I've had less issues with this, obviously, because it is full metal than they have already with their Perilous. And other than that, this blaster is honestly a very solid deal. I personally would recommend it if you want to buy it. And that is about it for my review on the Saber Apex Prime. This is JD Geeks signing off. Have a good one.